What's up, podcast? It is Friday morning, and this is the None of Your Business podcast. So, welcome, Nunyas. I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. So this one, today's episode is an honor to do. Lonnie is like a brother to me, and we talk about addiction, we talk about the MC, we talk about prison systems, we talk about firefighting, we talk about MMA, we just talk about showing up and being a member of society, Lonnie is a prime example of what you can do to change your life around. He's inspiring. He's like a brother to me. He, anytime I need him, he's there. Anytime, he's a man of his word, and it's an honor to know him and to have him on the show today. So, the sound is not the greatest on this, and there was a little bit of stops from my own doing, so I just want to apologize for that in advance. But for the most part, it's really good, and I hope someone out there gets value out of it. So share it on with your friends, and here we go. Go. All right, so I'm here with Lonnie Hubbard, or Chris Hubbard. What do you go by these days, man?
I go by Lonnie.
Lonnie, all right. And your Facebook still says Chris, and I just wasn't sure if I was calling you the wrong name or not.
I don't know why I haven't changed it yet. Everybody from my old life knows me as Chris or Chubbs. And once I got out of the system, I decided to keep going by Lonnie.
Yeah. So the system, what do you mean by that?
The prison system, the Department of Corrections.
Okay, and what was your experience in that? How did you get into that? What did you have a troubled childhood? What was going on?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of my childhood had something to do with it. Young parents, alcoholic dad, abusive, of course, but I think once I hit 15, I just hated everyone and everything. The only people that mattered were my friends, and maybe that did play a big role into my rebellion. But as I kept getting older, it was more the party scene. I was attention seeking. I thought the world revolved around me, and that's how I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be all about Chris Hubbard or Chubbs. I wanted to be the most famous, known person in Kalispell, Montana. And I thought I was. I would drink, I would do drugs, pretty much anything I could get my hands on.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Me too. Fuck. Me too.
It's a cycle. It just keeps getting worse and worse as the years go by.
Yeah, so you're a Golden Glove also, weren't you?
Golden Glove when I was younger. Probably 13 to 15.
13? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm 15 years old. You're just fuck you guys. I'm going to do drugs. Fuck everyone.
I just wanted to party. I was tired of... I wrestled, I boxed, I did MMA. And then I still did it till about I was 21, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to party. I wanted to get messed up. I wanted to drink. And I got a certain level of attention that I really liked when I was selling weed.
Yeah.
Or marijuana. Or cocaine or any kind of drug.
Yeah.
I got this attention. People needed me for something. And people call me.
Yeah.
All the time.
Totally.
And I loved it. I loved that attention. I would longboard around town selling weed out of a little backpack and enjoyed what I was doing. But after the years, it progressed into cocaine, ecstasy, heroin, meth. And as the drugs got more addictive, the worse I was off. Less friends, less attention. I got to the point where I was by myself.
Okay. So, like, why did you get into selling weed?
So, she'd kill me for saying this, but me and my stepmother, we got into selling weed together. She had the connection.
Okay.
I had the contacts. I had the people.
Yeah.
I had the people that wanted it, and I knew everybody in town.
Okay.
So we went in together. We started making really good money together. Nobody knew who my connect was.
She was the godmother?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And that's how we rolled for a couple years, and then my dad got involved. He wasn't happy at first when he found out, but when he realized how much money we were bringing in, because we were pretty hard up that year. That was a couple years. The market dropped. My dad's houses weren't selling that he was building. So on and so forth. Neither one of them were really working, except odd end jobs.
Yeah.
My dad was a construction worker. So when he really saw that money coming in, it all changed. They went legal.
Okay.
They opened their own dispensary, grow operation, legalized everything they did, because that was the only way my dad was going to do it. Then I was pushed to the side because I wanted to stay under the radar.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay illegal.
Yeah, totally. There's more money.
Exactly.
More money. You're not fucking on the list. You're not. Nobody can come knock. Well, they can come knocking on your door, but you're not automatically red flag.
Yeah.
But you think you're invincible when you're in the nightlife.
Yeah.
So, but also that too. I know that you used to wear a patch. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, okay. I was affiliated with a motorcycle club. I can't say what club.
Yeah.
But my father is the president of this chapter.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't like that to start with. He and a couple other guys were the founding fathers up here in this chapter.
And then it just kind of expanded.
Yep.
Without just throw that history and.
Yeah. Not of the club itself, but of the club, the chapter starting in this region.
Okay.
So, affiliation with that, it kind of got illegal. It was always illegal stuff, but and I just kind of ran with that. I was into running guns and drugs and, I mean, of course, allegedly, but it all played into my drug abuse, because I
Just
really
always chasing more and
that
always,
excitement.
Yeah. Trying to feed your habit, your addiction. You're in that lifestyle. You think this is gonna be the only thing that's gonna be.
This is all I know.
Yeah. All you fucking know. I get it.
From when I was a kid, chaos. Every day was, you wake up, you would think of, I would think of the most outrageous ways to make money, most dangerous ways.
Yeah.
I would do whatever it took.
Do whatever it takes.
I would kick in doors. I would kick in doors to empty houses and take everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I was that hard up at that point. Well, and I was at that point after, because once I started selling heroin and all that, I was hard up because I started using.
Yeah.
I used up all my supply. One year I used up all my supply, and then I was at a bottom, and that same year I got cancer.
I was just gonna ask you about that. I know. Yeah. How was that?
Well, it sucked, but I saw it as a ticket.
Okay.
To be honest, I saw it as a ticket to get more Oxycontins.
Yeah.
I was like, free oxys. I was like, let's do it.
Fuck yeah.
Surgeries, treatment.
Yeah, when I had surgery on my rotator cuff, I thought the exact same thing. It was like, fuck yeah. And now I got a doctor that's going to prescribe me oxys.
Yeah.
So I fucking got 180 Roxy 30s and was fucking done by the time I was...
Oh, yeah.
I do 180 in 3 days and it'd be fucked off. And less than 100 pounds. It should be dead.
Yeah. And I was recovering from a 13-hour-long surgery on bed rest. I was supposed to be on bed rest for 2 weeks. I made it 3 days with staples and stitches in my stomach. And I used up all my Oxycontins in that 3 days. A month's supply. 3 days. Once I ran out, I was too afraid to tell my dad that I used them all.
Right.
So in the middle of the night, I'm dry heaving into a garbage can.
Yeah. You're sick.
Yeah.
You're fucking
sick. I'm bulging these staples in my stomach. You know, I'm in so much pain. Finally, my parents had enough at that point. And to back up a little bit, this is a little bit past my arson charge. We made it just a little bit past. So to back up a little bit, we were partying a few years before that, 2-3 years before that, when I was 18, and drinking, of course, doing ecstasy.
Alright, so you're drinking, doing ecstasy, what?
Partying with a couple of friends of mine. We went out to a party, and we were... I just got off from work, and I didn't want to go to work the next day. I had just gotten this job. So we go out to my job site where I'm building a pole barn. And the idea was, because we're drunk, we're high, having a good time, of course, was the pole barn was held up by cables. And I was like, well, this just goes to show the way of our thinking. I thought if I broke the cables loose and the building tipped over, I wouldn't have to go to work the next day. Ridiculous, I know. Anyways,
I get it. Just
well, we We break the cables. The building does not fall over. So we're like, screw it, we'll have a good time while we're out here. There's nobody around. So we're drinking. We start a little fire. Well, in a fire pit. Just burning slash and old wood. And we find fireworks in the back of my buddy's Dodge Neon. And we take the fireworks out, and we're playing with them, lighting off Roman candles and stuff like that. We tipped a board over and it was on the building, and we were pouring gas on the board, and we shot it with a Roman candle. Boom! It goes up.
All right.
There's sawdust everywhere. Well, the sawdust catches on fire, and it just kind of escalated into catching one of the beams that was holding the building up on fire. And then we're like, we already heard sirens at this point, so we got into the Dodge Neon. I'm driving. We race out of there, and we head down a road. We get in a high-speed chase. We passed a sheriff. Sheriff turns. I'm driving 90, drinking Everclear, and taking ecstasy.
Okay.
On a dirt road. I lose the police officer on these back roads, and we see another barn. Our second logical thinking process we had was, we'll catch this bale of hay inside this pole barn on fire, and it'll make the police stop to put it out.
Yeah.
So we get out and we shoot Roman candles into that.
Mm-hmm.
Catches that 12 tons of alfalfa hay on fire. And I've churched this story up a couple different times. I don't really tell people the full truth of it. I don't know why. I usually tell them, I was partying. It's a long story. I tell them we're out at a party at fireworks, catch 12 tons of alfalfa hay on fire, which it's partly true. But the truth is we went out and we did this. And so we did that, and we got away. We stopped, and a sheriff drove by and saw us where we were next to this river. Stopped, we all split. There was 4 of us. There was 1 girl, 2 other guys. And all 3 of us guys got away that night on foot. We had dogs, we had sheriffs, highway patrol, KPD, everywhere looking for us. And we got away till the next morning. My boss showed up at my door, picked me up, took me to the job site where there's forensics, sheriffs, FBI, the works were out there. And they got us that day, the next day. They got the female that was with us, and she told them our names, our real names. Actually, she only knew me as Chubbs, and they knew the nickname. They had the nickname to a face at that point.
Yeah. You built a name for yourself in the town, and by the time they said Chubbs,
they knew exactly who I was. So they picked us up. We ended up getting charged with arson. A couple years deferred, started out. So then those years came of more criminal stuff. I was running guns, drugs, using heroin.
Yeah.
And then I got cancer. And then after a while, I used up all those drugs. My dad finally kicked me out of the house because he found some IVs.
Yeah.
In my coat jacket.
You're shooting up now.
Yep, shooting up my Oxycontins, Roxys, whatever they were.
Whatever the fuck you get.
So when I got kicked out, I found somebody I could stay with for Oxycontins. It wasn't long after that. I held up a gas station for some beer because I wasn't in my mind.
You held up a gas station for a case of beer?
Not even a case of beer, 2 tall boys.
Okay.
She asked me to stop, and I had a pistol in my pocket.
Like, fuck it.
I pulled the pistol out. I didn't point it at her. I held it in my hand, and I looked up at her, and she saw me. I saw the fear in her eyes, and I just ran. Never heard much about it until finally the police had caught up to me. I was stealing tall boys from gas stations, all the gas stations in town. They all knew me, had me on camera, and they finally caught me.
Okay.
And my probation officer at the time, he said, I was doing all sorts of dumb stuff. I mean, I took a gun out of a pawn shop right in front of the guy, took it off this rack, bolted out the door with 3 guys on my tail, and I dove through the person's window I was with and screamed, "Go, go, go." Well, they had me on camera. And so when I finally got caught, I was sitting in jail withdrawal, and my probation officer came up, finally saw me after, I think, like 7 days. He made me sit there. And he said, "You're looking at 10 years in prison." And I had no idea I was looking at that.
Yeah.
And he said, "You're looking at 10 years in Montana State Prison." And I said, "Okay." And I called my dad, and I told him what was going on. I told him I didn't need a lawyer. I think I hit that point where I was just so tired.
Fucking thank God.
Yeah, I
fucking done.
Saved my life, really.
Okay, yeah.
I was done running.
Just fucking thank God it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And so I did I did 5 years total in the Department of Corrections.
So did you go to MSP?
So from Flathead County Jail, I went to the Missoula Regional, which was turned into the MASC program.
Okay.
From the MASC program, I went to Connections West. It is kind of a military-style treatment facility. From there, I went to the Missoula pre-release. I was due to get out of the pre-release, and I borrowed a bike from a buddy of mine. Well, apparently that was against the rules, and they got me on camera doing it and said I stole it.
Okay.
So they kicked me out of the Missoula pre-release, and then I went to the Montana State Prison.
Okay.
From the Montana State Prison to Shelby I bounced all over.
Okay.
For about another year and a half, then I ended up in Start again.
Yeah.
Or not again, that was the first time I ended up in Start.
Oh, you had to Start twice?
I've been to Start twice.
Okay.
So that was my first time at Start. And I sat there for another 7 months, and then I went to the Helena pre-release. And then from the Helena pre-release, I got out. I made it through Helena pre-release in 6 months. 2 months live out. And that's where I met my girlfriend at the time, or my girlfriend today.
Yeah.
I met her at the Fuel Fitness. And then I was out for about 10 months. It was kind of a crappy deal. In the Department of Correction, or in my probation office, I was on conditional release still. I stabbed my hand with my pocket knife working on my truck, and I wasn't a saint up to this point either. I was dabbling. I was going back and forth between using meth and Suboxone, Suboxone and
Okay.
Subutex.
Yeah.
I wasn't full on yet. I mean, I did it a couple times and I was just beating myself up over it.
Yeah.
Well, finally I was like, okay, I gotta straighten up. I gotta do this. So now I'm straightening up, and I stab my hand and I go to the ER, and I'm not really on good terms of probation parole here. And
At the time.
at the time,
Yeah.
and I go into the ER, get stitches, and they give me tramadol, and I wait till Monday to go in and tell my probation officer, and it was I hadn't even taken any of the tramadol. Well, one of the head probation officers here said I was self-mutilating and trying to procure drugs.
Were you?
No, not at all. That was the part I was baffled. I was
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I said, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
And she didn't like that. She didn't like that I called her crazy. And there went. I said, you know, I have 17 months left on my DOC commitment. And she said, well, I'm gonna send you back for all of it. And she did. She sent me to start, or I went through a couple county jails to start, to Nexus, where it is a really intense 9-month treatment facility. And I mean, not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I think
What was your experience?
the experience, it was not good at all in Nexus. You know, in any of the facilities,
Mhm.
guards treat you like shit. I mean, not all of them. There are some stand-up guys that, you know, that's their job, that's what they do. But a lot of them abuse their power. They're underpaid.
Egotistical fucks.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And Nexus was the worst of them. The guards there were pukes. It was all a head game there, and they would turn all the inmates against each other. You know, everybody told on everybody, and I mean, in a grand scheme of things, maybe that's not the worst thing, but everything's secret. Everything is a secret. Everything is a lie. Nobody is telling their truth there.
Okay.
So when you actually do tell your truth there, they say it's a lie. So then you're just confused. You're like,
What the fuck?
I'm telling the truth here, and you guys are bashing me for it.
Yeah.
And then they make up their own truth about you,
Okay.
and that's the way you have to live it. When you're in that facility, you have to live that lie. You have to watch your back. You have to take care of yourself.
Mentally, how was that?
Hard. It's really hard. I still, some days I think back on it. Some nights I would hide. So we would have 1 hour to ourselves and have these little group therapy sessions. We'd have an hour at the end of the day. And I would sneak off, say I was going to the bathroom, between the chaos of all the meetings that everyone bullshitting and having fun. I would hide in my room and listen to the radio clock,
Okay.
because that was the only music I'd heard in a long time.
Fucking.
And
Sure.
you just want to get away from it all. It is chaos.
Being in a facility like that, and like you think you know your exit date, but not being able to escape. Like, what's the mental?
You have to build a mental fortitude. You have to. You almost just go into autopilot.
Yeah.
You shut yourself off. You close your mind off. You just have to do it because you have no choice at that point.
It's flight or fight.
Yeah, it's either that or you're going back to the big house, or going backwards, not forwards.
And you definitely, the more backward you get, the more fucked you get.
The more fucked you get, the longer your release date gets.
Okay.
From where you are. And they rely on that, and they know it keeps people in there.
Yeah.
And
what was the hardest point in your institutionalized career?
All of it.
All of it?
From the first day. The first 6 months I was grateful. I was clean. I was thinking clearly. I was like, I could do this. I could change my life. Well, after the first year, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Give me back.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you go through that battle for the next couple of years. You're just like, you're trying to keep a positive attitude. You want to change your life. You want to change other people's lives. You want to do something good. And not everyone wants that, but that was for me.
Okay.
So you have that battle going on. You're constantly thinking about your family, the people you knew, or you once knew. You lose some of your best friends. They die while you're in there. You miss a lot. And you have to live with that.
And by missing those moments, did it make you want to change even more? Or you're just like, fuck everyone, I want to go back out and fuck the world?
I never thought about going back out. I just was hurt.
Yeah.
And I think we beat ourselves up a lot more than we should as alcoholics, addicts. And I wanted to change because I was tired.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I'm done. I need to get on with my life. So you've been through a fucking battle. Well, some because of yourself, some not because of yourself.
Yeah.
But seeing you today, like if I didn't know that before you, like I would have no idea that you went through that shit.
Yeah.
You weigh 185 pounds lean now?
Yeah.
You're fucking, you just won the gold and
silver medals in two different divisions in grappling industries.
Yeah, you're fucking, you've done a total 180 from my perspective, and I don't know how it is from your perspective, but when the outside looking in, you definitely have.
There was a turning point. I think I do owe that to the system, as I was just pissed and I was tired of running, and I said it. The only way this is gonna work is if I just change it all. I had to change it all. It was everything. Friends, not so much family, but a little bit of family. The key I found was when somebody would offer me an opportunity, I would show up. I didn't say no, I said yes, and I made sure I followed through with that commitment. And with each opportunity that came that I said yes to, and I did, and I showed up for, came another one. I've met some big people here in this town, this community, that have really stuck their necks out for me and afforded me opportunities that are just, I'm really grateful for.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I learned, it was just, if someone offered me an opportunity, I showed up for it.
Shut up.
And I said yes to almost everything. I still say yes to everything. It's a curse and a gift at the same time.
Because you're a busy man.
I am. I bite off a little more than I can chew sometimes, but I try to make sure I make most of my commitments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of service. I help others. Now I volunteer with the Baxendale Fire Department.
Yeah, look, I want to talk to you about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Why the fire department? Where's that going to do? You end up burning down a field and going to prison, and now you're working for a fire department?
Yeah,
Like,
the irony in it.
So
It's funny. So my boss, Frank Kohler, who I started working for about 2.5 years ago, after about a year of working with him, we became pretty good friends, doing CrossFit together. He came and tried some jiu-jitsu and grappling out with me. We live kind of close to each other, and he said he works with the Baxendale Fire Department. He has a meeting, and this is one of those opportunity moments that I'm talking about. He said, "You want to come to one of the meetings? Just sitting on one of the meetings?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. So I went that night and I met all the guys. And as we're getting ready to leave, the chief, Jordan's, he came down and talked to me, and he said, I talked to the guys, and you're on. And I said, really? I said, that's awesome. So there's the other opportunity out of the opportunity.
Okay.
And he said, here's this application, fill this out. And on the application I said, why do you want to volunteer at this fire department? And I thought about it long and hard. My crime was arson. I demolished someone's barn, or two people's hard work, hard-earned money. And I said, I think I couldn't even think of a better way to give back.
There you go.
As a firefighter.
Yeah.
And so far I've been on a lot of medical calls, just as a helping hand. You know, you show up, you start CPR, you wait for EMTs to get there, you try and keep the situation calm, you help the EMTs out with whatever they need. A couple fires, nothing big, nothing major. I mean, we do wildland, so last year we were kind of lucky with not a very bad fire season.
Yeah.
But you know, that'll all change one of these summers, and we'll be back in action. But so far it's been really...
Unfortunately, you will.
Yeah.
The state's gonna be fucking on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been really rewarding, and I think that's also another part of me remaining sober today.
Yeah.
Is giving back, just kind of being of service. And I'm so busy, I don't have time to think about what else I could be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and if I do think about what else I could be doing, it is constantly, what else can I do to better myself today or at this moment, instead of just standing here watching YouTube videos.
Right. Well, I do that, but it's like, you know, self-learning books.
Yeah.
Self-learning YouTube. Self-learning, you know, podcasts, YouTube channels.
I do
audiobooks.
that.
Like, I don't watch fucking cats on YouTube. Like, that's not what
The
I
funny
do.
memes.
Yeah, it's just like now that I've turned 25, like I'm just like all focused on learning. Like before, like when I first, like around 19, I was like slowly learning. A friend introduced me to podcasts and whatever. But now like if I got 15 minutes, I'm gonna listen to a podcast. I'm gonna fucking watch Dave Ramsey about investing.
Educate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like crazy because fucking back in high school, I didn't make it to high school.
Yeah,
So
me neither.
like there wasn't, you know, learning was not my thing. I didn't understand how algebra could fucking is what I'm gonna do today. Like, yeah, it's useful for people that fucking use that shit, but not for me.
And still, to a point, it's still useless to you, because your interests are this podcast, you know, the social aspect of everybody's,
Yeah.
the world turning around. That's your interest. What makes the world go round? Not really algebra or mathematics or
No,
formulas.
man, fucking, you know, teachers, professors, thank you. You gotta do that shit, but that's not for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, we talked a little bit about your medals that you won last weekend. Like, how did you get into jiu-jitsu? Like, why, out of all the mixed martial arts, why jiu-jitsu?
So I wrestled for a bunch of years. I was a barroom champion. I loved fighting. And
Okay.
so, as another opportunity, fresh out, or in pre-release this last time,
Mm-hmm.
I ran into Jeremiah Johnson at Express Employment here in town.
Okay.
He offered me a job. I worked a job for him. He's the one who got me the job with Frank Kohler at Kohler Tire.
Okay.
So he was my first contact, my first opportune moment. He said, when you get out of pre-release, you should come try jiu-jitsu. And I said, sounds interesting. I'd probably be up my alley. And he has a similar story to what I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same, almost exact story. 5
Okay.
years DOC, turn around, change it all.
Cool.
So we became really good friends, like best friends. Me and him, when I finally got out of pre-release, I called him up and we went. He took me to my first jiu-jitsu training session.
Okay.
And I about threw up.
Yeah.
The guys just beat the hell out of me. And I felt so good after I left there. I was just
Really?
like, this is it, you know.
You have arrived.
Yeah,
Alright.
this is my ticket. I often call it my AA.
Yeah.
And it's a brotherhood. You are so close to these individuals, and you have just, you share something with these guys when you tap to somebody. You know,
Yeah.
somebody gets you in a submission and you tap. It's respect. You know, it's love. And you can take so much from jiu-jitsu and put it into life. Is what I really like about it, the jiu-jitsu philosophy. You know, you get in these tough positions in life as you do in jiu-jitsu, and you either keep fighting and get out, or you tap out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing bad about tapping out. If you can't do it, don't do it, because you'll
Okay.
end up getting hurt in one way or another.
Yeah.
This is my philosophy. This is jiu-jitsu, my jiu-jitsu philosophy.
No, let's fucking spill it out.
So you get in these positions, so on and so forth, and the work ethic with jiu-jitsu. You have to train 4 to 5 days a week, sometimes 2 times a day.
Yeah, you're up. What? You're at the gym at 5:30?
I'm up at 5:30. I'm at the gym by 6.
Okay.
We're training till 7:30. From 7:30 to 8, I'm at school by 8. School till about 4. Then I'm at work. Then 2-3 nights a week I'm firefighting. I'm training a lot for different aspects of my life, but jiu-jitsu is taught me a lot about the work ethic. If you want something in life, you want to be the best, you want to not get tapped out, you got to get better.
Yeah.
So you got to work harder. Train
Joko
harder.
or Jocko?
Jocko Willink?
Yeah. Like when me and my ex broke up, like I just came across this podcast, like the one podcast, but I've listened to it like every 30 seconds. It's like jiu-jitsu is the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Fucking your bitch fucking breaks up with you. Jiu-jitsu is the answer to everything. You're broke. Jiu-jitsu is the answer to everything.
Yeah.
You're gonna make you cry, you little bitch. Jiu-jitsu is the answer to everything. And I'm just like, this is fucking awesome. And then like just seeing you do it and see what it does for you. And like you started how long ago? Like a year ago?
A little over a year ago, almost.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
year
like,
and a half.
You're fucking like
A gold medalist. I haven't walked away from 5 tournaments without a gold or a silver.
yeah, like and just from starting a year and a half ago, like how long do you think those guys that you're competing against have been doing that?
Either as long or longer.
Yeah, it's just like you picked up on it, you're going, and all you do have the wrestling and the boxing background, but you weren't doing it every day. You weren't, you were in your drug and alcoholism,
Right.
fucking off, like in prison. Like there is You know, so just picking it up and having it as like, again, I use powerlifting or lifting as a form of my meditation. And
Yeah.
It seems like what you did with that.
Yeah, it basically is that. When I'm on the mats, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
I have to focus. I have to just my bills, my chaos, my life. Nothing else matters. I love the sweat. I love the grind. I love waking up and just knowing that today's another day that I'm gonna grind and I'm gonna finish strong and I'm gonna make something out of this chaos.
Yeah, for sure.
And you meet so many different people from all different walks of life doing jiu-jitsu. People you would normally never ever run into. You know, you got legislators, you've got businessmen, you've got family guys, family dads, and police. I mean, I roll with a lot of different police officers from this area.
Yeah. Something that you probably never thought you'd ever do.
Yeah, and I call them friends. They're really good friends of mine now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I owe a lot of this to jiu-jitsu, and I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. So before we go here, you know, if there's like 3 things, piece of advice, or 3 things, you know, somebody starting off in jiu-jitsu, or, you know, what's your 3 pieces of advice? What's your 3 pieces message to the world?
Find something you love and stick with it.
All right.
And grind. Wake up, do everything you have to do that day to make your commitments.
There you go. And you're doing it. You've
Yeah.
done a fucking 180, going from every goddamn institutional place in the state of Montana to now fucking rolling on the mats with cops.
Yeah.
Fucking and helping out our fire department. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
good.
Well, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, that's about pretty much my life in a nutshell.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here and taking the time. It's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, Lonnie.
Awesome. Thanks, Robert.